Hi, my name is Mark Aldrich, and today I'll be presenting a tool demo for Augur. Augur is a dynamic change analysis platform for JavaScript. Dynamic change analysis is a program analysis technique that is commonly used to find injection vulnerabilities in both client and server-side code. Today, I'll show you how to install and use Augur to find some common injection vulnerabilities in JavaScript code. Installing Augur is as simple as just running the commands in the README. I'm just going to go ahead and paste these in my terminal. But just make sure that you have the dependencies, which are just node, npm, and docker. So we have it installed now. So let's look at some vulnerable code. Here we'll be looking at a script called weather. This script, given the name of a city or a location or a zip code, will output some nicely formatted weather in your terminal. Here I ran it on Boston. We can also run it on zip codes. And as you can see, it worked. The script is actually implemented very simply by taking advantage of this website called wttr.in, which by appending the location to the URL, will give you nicely formatted weather in your terminal. However, this application, although it's quite simple, contains an injection vulnerability. Injection vulnerabilities occur when user input flows directly into dangerous functions like exec. Here, the exec command simply executes a shell command. And because the user actually has control over what goes into the shell, they can exploit it and take control of your system. So here, if we run this same script with some specially crafted user input, we can get some output that looks right. However, our script is now gone. This is definitely a problem that we should fix. So here, I'll just get the weather script back, and let's take another look at it. So in this case, this program is fairly tiny, only 4 lines long. You could probably spot the injection vulnerability just by looking at the code here. However, in production software, this flow might be much more complicated. It might flow through multiple functions, or it might even flow through multiple files. Here, we can use Augur to detect this injection vulnerability automatically. Here we can run Augur just by configuring it to look at this directory and run the weather.js script with the argument of Boston. And Augur will now execute the program with that specification. And here we can see that it found a flow. Specifically, it found a flow from the process variable, which is where we get our user input from, on line 3 of weather.js, into a function invocation called exec on line 7. Now, if you would like to fix this, there are a few common options that you can go down. The first one is avoiding the need for a shell command in the first place. Here, we are using the exec command, but we can refactor this to use a different command called exec file. This exec file command, instead of passing its argument directly to a shell, actually directly invokes the curl binary on the system with the given arguments. So in this case, no matter what the value of the location variable is, it won't flow through a shell. So the user cannot exploit that with a shell. So if we run this same program with that same input that we were exploiting previously, we can see that it was passed directly to the website because it's not a real city name, it's a shell code, and our shell script is still here. And we can also run Augur on this refactored program to see that it indeed does not contain an injection vulnerability. There's also another way you may want to fix this by still using the exec command, but instead by sanitizing the user input before it flows into the shell. In this case, we will write a function called sanitize, which replaces some shell escape characters like semicolon and ampersands, so that the shell will not interpret them, and instead they will flow to the curl binary instead. If we try running this with our specially crafted input, we will see that our script is still here. And if we run this with Augur, we will see that it will also not find a flow. So that is all I have time to show today, but please make sure to check out the README. Again, Augur is available open source on GitHub. There are a lot of features that I was not able to talk about, including that Augur is useful outside of the security domain as well. So again, it's commonly used to detect injection vulnerabilities, but it is capable of finding any information flow. So thank you for watching, and feel free to use this in any research projects as well. Thanks.